Hi, I'm Emma Jenkins. I'm a specialist in contract law and I've been brought in to work as your agent. I'll be working to get you the best deal in the boardroom, which means you need to do the best possible job out there on the circuit. When you get new contract offers, either from new teams or an amendment to your existing offer, it'll come through me. I'll also keep you up to date on discussions behind the scenes to change your terms or any specific goals that the team has set for you. If a contract offer does come through, I'll present to you the available offers and then you can make the call. I assume that all sounds fine. Well then, good luck this season and I'll catch you later.
The track acclimatisation programme, available in free practice sessions, allows you to learn the track whilst earning resource points for the development of your car. On-track markers show the key points through each corner, and the more of these you're able to consistently drive through at an appropriate speed, the higher your score and the more resource points you'll be rewarded with. Try and chain together multiple successful corners for a consistency boost to your score. Consistency over a long distance with heavy fuel is vital in Formula 1, so being able to manage tyres is a useful skill. The tyre wear programme, available in free practice sessions, will help you learn tyre management while earning resource points for development of your car. Be gentle on the controls to reduce the amount of tyre slip and therefore wear. The better you can do this, the higher you'll score at the end of each lap and the more resource points you'll receive. Stay under a target lap time while maintaining your tyre management for a score bonus. When the on-screen bar moves towards the red, that means you are wearing your tyres more than expected at this part of the lap. When it moves towards the purple, you're wearing them less. Try and stay in the green zone at least for a successful test. The qualifying pace programme, available in free practice sessions, challenges you to beat a target time that corresponds to an expected position on the starting grid. Complete 3 flat-out laps on the fastest tyre compound to set the best time you can, and you'll earn resource points for hitting your target. The drag reduction system, or DRS, opens a flap on the rear wing to reduce drag and improve the straight-line speed of the car. Drivers are able to use this system in specific DRS zones as long as the circuit is dry. There are no additional restrictions to DRS use in practice and qualifying. However, in a race, the system can only be used when the driver is 1 second or less behind another. Watch the bar at the bottom of your multifunction display and activate it by pressing the DRS button when the prompt appears. The multifunction display is a vital tool to give drivers control over their cars and make important information visible during a race. It's possible to cycle through the screens on the MFD to access the settings, such as brake bias or the tyres to be fitted at the next pit stop, as well as car condition, component temperatures and race strategy information. When speaking to your engineer through the radio, the MFD is also the place where you'll be able to view and select your available commands. The safety car may be deployed if there's an incident or if the conditions are too dangerous to drive in. Once the safety car is out on track, there's no overtaking permitted, and you must keep your lap time above a minimum in order to safely form a queue behind it. You can judge your pace using the delta element of the on-screen display. Ensure you drive slowly enough to keep it positive. Once a line has formed, the safety car will re-enter the pits. Remember that there's no overtaking until the green flag's at the first safety car line. If the incident is less severe, the virtual safety car may be deployed. It's not necessary to form a queue under the VSC, but just stay above a certain delta time and obey yellow flag rules until the virtual safety car period comes to an end. There's a huge amount of time to be won and lost in the pits, but ensure that you don't get too greedy as you approach the pit lane speed limit line. On the approach, you'll see a notification of the pit lane speed limit and your distance to the limit line. If you cross this threshold too fast, you'll be given a speeding penalty, so be careful. There are valuable tenths to be won by getting it right though, so leave your braking as late as you dare. At the pit exit, it's important not to cross onto the racetrack before reaching the end of the white pit exit line. Tyre selection is a critical issue in Formula 1, and the current tyre regulations give individual drivers more freedom than ever. Pirelli allow 13 sets of dry tyres and 7 sets of wet tyres for a full race weekend, so you need to be careful to make your allocation last the distance. From the dry sets, 3 are pre-selected by Pirelli and marked as mandatory for Q3 and the race, but drivers can adjust their allocation for the other 10 sets from the 3 available compounds. Just remember, during the Grand Prix, every driver must use one of Pirelli's mandatory tyres plus 1 set from a different compound. The formation lap is an opportunity to practice your race start and put some energy through your tyres and brakes to get them up to the optimal temperature for the beginning of the race. When the light goes green, pull away from the grid and stay in position, making sure to keep your car in good condition as you drive a lap at a steady but consistent pace in order to prepare for the start of the Grand Prix. Races aren't won from the start line, but they can be lost, so getting a good start can make an important difference to your Grand Prix. As the lights come on, engage the clutch by holding the gear up button. Then, feed in the throttle to build up the revs. When the lights go out, release the clutch and it's away we go. But be careful not to release the clutch too early, or you may end up jumping the start. If your RPM is too low when you drop the clutch, your car may go into anti-stall. Don't panic if this happens, keep a cool head, clutch in, build up the RPM, and then release the clutch, just like the start procedure, to get underway again. In the unforgiving world of Formula 1, free practice sessions are a vital part of any Grand Prix weekend. During your F1 career, you'll be able to utilise these sessions to complete practice programmes, which will help you learn the track and earn you points that can be invested in developing your car.
Welcome to Melbourne, where the practice session is about to start for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. The pre-race talking is over. Now it's time for the drivers to show their worth. I'm here with Anthony Davidson once again. Nice to see you, Ant, and I wanted to ask you about how you go about improving the car over the course of a practice session. How much would you say is already known from the pre-race simulations? And how much do you have to do, how much do you have to work on with a real car on a real circuit?
Well, that's a good question, Crofty, and I suppose the simple answer is that there's no such thing as too much information. As you say, the bigger teams have very complex simulations, vast numbers of clever people crunching the numbers back at base, but what they can't tell you is stuff like how the track condition's going to be, or what the temperature's going to be doing over the course of the day, and how all of that's going to be interacting with the tyre. There are so many millions of tiny variables involved in getting these cars around a racetrack quickly, but the computer can't tailor the car to a driver's specific balance requirements. At some point, you still need to put a human being in there and have them feel it through the seat of their pants. And that's why we end up with different drivers having different setups. So what I'm trying to say is, Crofty, nothing beats on-track testing.
Shouldn't see any rain, but if a storm front does appear, then we'll let you know. get these changes made. Don't push it just yet. Track is still green. Try and take it easy for the first couple of laps. as you requested. This lap so far is a